Hello everyone, my name is Brad Yasar, and this is my first Facebook Live, thanks to Ash. Ash, thank you for having me. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and just wanted to share what worked for me and what didn't with the audience here. I've started on the technology side, being a developer myself, and grew into more the business side with marketing and branding of projects. So what are top 5 tips of being a successful entrepreneur? The most important thing for me has been the people around. If you have a good team that sings well and really helps out with the project, that synergy carries you a long way. So number one tip: pick your team very carefully. It's like marrying someone. It's a long-term relationship. It goes on for years and years and years, and it's very important to start the journey with the right people that you enjoy working with. Number 2 tip is preparation. Before you launch a new company, new business, new product, spend some time to do your homework, because it's imperative that you're the best informed person as the founder of the company within an industry and within an industry segment to make it successful. Number 3 is timing. When do you start a new company? When do you launch a new business? These are all make or break decisions for any entrepreneur, because a brilliant idea that's a little too late may not actually turn into a business, and a mediocre idea timed well can actually turn into a business and be successful. So personally as well as professionally, be ready for launching a new business. I mean, just prepare yourself from a personal perspective. I recommend having saving, being ready for the hardship that business brings, as well as on the professional side, time the launch within that space, within that industry, well enough that you're not being overrun by other news or other projects. Number 4 would be branding and marketing. A lot of startups just focus on product, just focus on user growth, and miss out an opportunity on starting the brand right. So pay some attention to ensure your brand connects with your potential audiences, whether it's customers or users, what have you. It's really important to have that connection. And finally, number 5 is fundraising. I've bootstrapped all my 2 successful exits, and it was very satisfying. So I would recommend that as long as you can bootstrap the project. Don't rush into taking a lot of money until you have a good grasp of where the growth is going to come from. Once you have a product market fit, it's easy and better terms to get funding. I want to segue that into the crowdfunding revolution that's happening currently because of the Jobs Act in the U.S. and a little longer in the rest of the world. I think it is interesting that now, with the public being able to invest in early stage companies, there is attractive options for an entrepreneur to raise funds. I do want to take a few of the questions before going too deep into equity crowdfunding. How has equity crowdfunding done since Title III Jobs Act launch? Equity crowdfunding has been a nascent industry, and like you mentioned, just happened in the spring of last year. So the verdict is still out. There is a lot of opportunities for companies, as I said, to raise funds from alternative sources, and it's exciting. But how it's done has it had its ups and downs. The law is still being revisited in the Congress, and there's hope that it's going to be a very attractive investment opportunity for those that had been excluded from it, as well as an opportunity to raise funds from fans and customers for businesses. What are the best elements for a business pitch document? I think the best elements of a pitch deck are obviously the team. It's important, the problem, the solution. It's also equally important what the opportunity is as an investment. So I would focus on what problem is being solved, how, what is the market, who's the team behind it. Try to answer questions why, when, and who's going to solve the problem, why now, and when is it going to take effect. So those are important questions to answer. 3 books that I recommend every entrepreneur to read. Those are, I would say, Art of War has been a big influence, at least for me, because you can apply the strategies in there to everyday business. Second book would be Elon Musk's biography. I don't recall the title right now, but it's a very impressive book about someone who has migrated to this country and has become a modern Tony Stark, and just the experiences he had are very interesting, and I would say fascinating for anyone who wants to start a business. And finally, I don't have actually a preferred one for this, but if you haven't studied business, you're not familiar with what starting a business entails, aside from the technology or the product part, I would highly recommend as a third pick a book that just focuses on fundamentals of business. It could be an original from Carnegie or one of the modern interpretations, and just focus on how those people became highly successful businessmen, and the underlying idea is it's customer service. Was the best piece of advice a mentor has given to me? The best advice I got was probably never give up. Keep going. There are going to be very difficult times. There are going to be ups and downs. Perseverance is an essential quality for anyone who wants to become an entrepreneur, who wants to start a new business, and really has to dedicate themselves to that craft. What does the term Youngry mean to me? Youngry means, well, young and hungry, but it's also a state of mind. Youngry is a state of mind where you are focused, energetic, as the name suggests. It doesn't have to be young in age. It's just you're young and you're open to new things. And Youngry, with the combination with hungry, you're also striving to achieve something. So Youngry means someone who is ready to take on whatever challenge is ahead of him and conquer that. What industries have you seen do best with equity crowdfunding? Any crowdfunding My experience after running a couple dozen successful campaigns, having done the largest equity crowdfunding campaign in U.S. to date, is product companies, regardless of the industry, anytime you have a product that you can get the crowd excited about and offer that to the crowd as your customers, it has done really well. If you look at all of the top crowdfunding campaigns, the majority of them involve a physical product because it's tangible, people get excited about it, they can have it, and it's easier to connect than, let's say, an esoteric research project or software. When is best to do Title III equity crowdfunding versus Regulation A+? Okay, well, I guess I'm going to get a little technical here. Each crowdfunding type has its time and place. So for me, the starting point, if you have a prototype, you are able to get to that point. The starting point is a rewards-based campaign where you offer it to the crowd for their pledges and get market validation. If you have that market validation, I think the next step would be Title III equity crowdfunding. Just because Title III is easier to put together and it's also cheaper to execute on. The costs of equity crowdfunding campaigns are accounting costs, legal costs, and marketing costs. And on all three of these fronts, Title III is more affordable than trying to do a Reg A raise. So I would start with a Title III raise. Again, that's the second layer of product market fit or market validation. This time not focused on the product itself, but your business model, because you're offering equity in your business for contributions. So Title III would be the second step. And finally, if you have had a successful Title III, you are revenue stage, you do have a product, and you're looking for growth capital, that's when Regulation A Plus is a perfect vehicle because it costs more. However, the limits on it are higher, 50 million versus the 1 million of Title III. And you're able to do more with a Reg A type of offering than Title III. Because Title III, there are restrictions on marketing prior to the campaign launch, whereas Regulation A Plus allows you to test the waters, talk to your audiences longer, and launch a bigger campaign. So that would be the order. Is there a Reg A campaign you recommend people to see and learn from? Well, it depends. If I can talk about the ones that I've been with. I think as far as engagement and connection with the people, Elio Motors on Stock Engine is a great campaign to look at. That's the campaign that raised the most money so far to date. That's a good example. And also, if you want to actually learn from maybe a campaign that wasn't that effective, I don't know if it's still available. But there are other earlier Regulation A campaigns that launched on the same platform that we can learn from. The most impactful and creative campaign that I can think of actually started in UK and moved over here, and that's called Brewdog. The way they approached and energized their core audiences is fascinating if you want to study a campaign that has gone viral. What is the best advice for a successful crowdfunding campaign? Well, the best advice is be prepared. If you have a large audience that you have already amassed either as customers or social media following or personal connections of the founders, that's great. If you don't have that, this preconceived notion that if I launch a crowdfunding campaign, I'm gonna be successful and get a lot of people interested in it is sometimes detrimental, because that's not how it works. You need to do your homework, and best advice for a successful crowdfunding campaign is you're going to do the hardest work before you launch your campaign. So if you feel, your launch date is in a couple days, and you don't feel like you worked hard, it seemed easy, maybe it's not the right time to launch, because you may not have put all the things in motion that make a crowdfunding campaign successful. So build your audience, and get it to twice the size you would expect to need for your crowdfunding campaign, so that you're not disappointed. There seems to be a lot of equity crowdfunding platforms. What should one look for? Decide which one to use. That's a good question. I've always been platform agnostic. The top platforms that I worked with so far have been Start Engine, WeFunder, and Seed Invest. WeFunder only does Title III campaigns. Start Engine does both, and Seed Invest does both. The reason why I'm mentioning these three is because I've worked with them, and they have enough of a following or user base to actually make a difference in your campaign. Of course, Indiegogo entered the equity crowdfunding space with its Title III offerings, and I think there is an opportunity there to capitalize on Indiegogo's 5-6 years worth of user acquisition, which is great. The only challenge there is it's a different kind of audience. Those people were focusing on rewards-based campaigns, and suddenly now they're asked to invest in a company. So the verdict is still out. I don't know if their audience is going to convert better in the long run than the newcomers. But I think you should look for a platform that's actually best suited for your needs. What I would look for is, let's say you may be a microbrewery. Going to a platform that has already had microbrewery offerings on it would give you a head start, because there is a captive audience there that previously invested in such deals and is excited to see them. Same thing if you're a car company or a motorcycle, any transportation. You may want to look at a platform where a company in your industry has successfully crowdfunded. And I don't think this advice is going to become obsolete as there are more campaigns or more platforms, because if the platform has a built-in audience that's interested in what you're doing, that's going to give you a head start. So going back to crowdfunding and its effects on entrepreneurship, I think what I'm excited about is not only that it's a new asset class for these new investors, retail investors that had been locked out of these type of investments for the longest, but it's also a great way to balance the early stage investments a company is taking, whether it's through angels or venture capital. It is really important to not look at crowdfunding and equity crowdfunding as a competitor to angel funds or VC funds, but actually a complementary source of investment, either as a precursor because it gives you market validation, or as a continuation of a round that didn't take the company to where they wanted to be with that round. What's the best use of marketing dollars when doing an equity crowdfunding campaign? Well, the best use of marketing dollars are whatever returns the highest return on investment. So I look at ROI, and I try to make sure that any dollar and every dollar spent returns the highest possible return to the campaign. Now, for an equity crowdfunding campaign, of course, the key measure is how much you raised. In relation to that, each campaign is different. I've seen marketing dollars used in several different ways to accomplish that goal, and each campaign, what returned the highest ROI has been different. Sometimes it's the influencers, paid or non-paid. Other times it's digital media buys, and or other times it's PR. So each campaign's dynamic is very different, and these different marketing activities actually trigger in different ways for different campaigns, and it's hard to say what's the best use. The best results I've seen from marketing dollars has been digital media buys, very targeted digital media buys, not directly to generate traffic, but to generate engagement within the crowd. I mean, what I mean by that is, if you try to do media buys to get investments directly, there are going to be several challenges in doing so, from tracking all the way to conversion issues on people who have not had an opportunity to really digest the information you're sharing with them. Whereas if you use the marketing dollars to create conversations around your product, your business, your equity offering, then those conversations have a lot better conversion rates, as well as better return on your investment of marketing dollars. Well, since I'm not seeing any more questions, I am going to go back to talking about equity crowdfunding. Equity crowdfunding is like launching a new business. Every campaign that I've been involved with required the same amount of focus, same amount of attention to detail and preparation as launching a new business. And it's really taking it lightly when people don't prepare enough for these kind of activities. I've seen very successful campaigns that started slow and became very successful, and other campaigns that didn't hit the marks that we were hoping to cover. And it's a long journey. The journey of an equity crowdfunding campaign starts long before the campaign is launched, long before any aspect of the campaign page is produced, whether it be the video, the graphics, or the copy. So it is important to give yourself enough time and take that time to understand what is needed to be successful with this campaign. And most of the time, the most important things I've seen is audiences. If you don't build an audience large enough, the campaign suffers from visibility issues. If you have that, the second most important thing that I've seen is dialogue. You may have the largest audience. If the campaign page is the first time they're hearing about you, your business, or your product, it is a tough sell, because they don't know anything about anything else, and you're asking people to invest in an idea or a business, most of the time online. So that's really important. Start the conversation early on and talk to your audiences. Talk about the team. Talk about your business. Talk about your product, and ask questions. Those questions are so crucial to finding product market fit and having a successful crowdfunding campaign and a successful business, that the emphasis is on getting the information, not necessarily the dollar amount you raise. I've told several people the money you raise from a crowdfunding campaign is just the frosting on the cake. The cake itself is the brand equity, the marketing impact the campaign is going to have, as well as the brand ambassadors you're going to create from all the retail investors you're engaging. So it's very important to be prepared. And finally, execution is crucial. I mean, you can have the best audience, you can have the most engagement and the best marketing plan in place. If you don't execute on your own plan, you're going to have a lot of issues with your campaign, unfortunately, because it is like I said, it's like launching a business. You can build the best product, but if you don't go and talk to customers and understand how you're going to sell your product, then you may not be successful. And if you're talking to the customers and promising them X, Y, Z, but not delivering on any of that, same issue, you're not going to succeed as a business, because it is a mini launch when you do an equity crowdfunding campaign. What are the factors should early stage entrepreneurs consider when choosing between angel crowdfunding or equity crowdfunding? Oh, that's a good question. For me, there are costs associated with all three of those, and I think I don't mean just the financial cost of giving out equity, but actual cost of loss of control in your business, as well as loss of focus when you're fundraising. So the factors to consider are: how strong is your network? Do you have angel investors within your personal network? Because that would be the easiest conversation to have. If you are someone who's lucky enough to have a lot of angel investors or friends and family who can make angel investments around you, that would be the simplest way to get investment in your business. Crowdfunding and equity crowdfunding both engage similar audiences, but from different perspectives. In one, you're saying, this is my product. If you like it, I would love for your support to bring it to life. In the other one, you're saying, this is my company. If you like it, I would love for you to partner up and be a part of this journey. I think, again, the deciding factor is, with equity crowdfunding, you're giving a part of your company. You're now responsible to other people. Are you comfortable enough, and are you ready to take on that responsibility? Would be the deciding factor. If I take $1 million through a Title III campaign, am I confident that I'm going to do right by my investors and return that money with profit to them? If you're not, crowdfunding is a lesser commitment where you're committing to deliver goods. Again, your business may not have the longevity you're hoping for, but as long as you deliver the goods, that's what you're responsible for. So again, the question is, am I comfortable launching a crowdfunding campaign and being able to deliver whatever I promise the people that back my campaign? If you can keep your promises, then it's a green light. Then you can do crowdfunding. Again, if you feel confident that your business is going to be around for several years and you're going to grow it to a level where you're returning profit to your investors, then you can take that route. I think the factors are obviously access to capital. If you have access to private equity capital and can engage it quickly, that's the cheapest and the most short way to getting funded, shortest way. And crowdfunding is the next, the first step in what I described earlier on as how I see things evolving. You can crowdfund just with a prototype or a design, and if it's successful, then do an equity crowdfunding to get the funds to really move the company forward. And once you're in growth stage, you can do a larger equity crowdfund to accelerate growth of your business. I personally wouldn't recommend going and doing a Reg A plus crowdfunding if you're pre-revenue, pre-product, just idea stage, because that may not be the best fit. Same thing with crowdfunding. If you don't have a product that you can offer to the audience, you may not necessarily be there, which may leave you with just an angel investment option. Well, it's it for today. I